Hi, well, welcome back. So now that we've gone through the first 5 movements, the 3 punches and the 2 sotageris, I want to work a little bit now on the elbow strike. And the reason I wanted to separate this out is because when I'm teaching this kata in class, as you may recall, I point out that this next technique, this elbow strike, is going to be used in one fashion or another in the remaining kata. So especially when you're working on kanshiwa, you want to start getting the fundamentals of this strike down. So I'm going to go over what's important to me. I encourage you on all this kata, on all this advice I'm giving you, when we do get back to class, please check with Naidi Sensei, talk to the seniors in class, Henry and Sam and Will and Michael, and see what their approach is. This is my approach to doing it, and as I've said before, karate is not cookie cutter, so this is how I do it. Hopefully this has some good information for you in terms of your body, but a lot of what's going on is internal. You want to feel what's happening inside your body and how you can apply these techniques. So we've done our second sotageru. As I move into this technique, I want to feel myself protected. As I've mentioned in Sanshin, turns and steps are really an opportunity for ski. And a lot of what you're doing in your kata is trying to close these openings in your body. I mean, it'd be one thing if I really wanted to hit somebody super hard, I could rear back and just fire away my whole body, all the centrifugal force. Unfortunately, I'm wide open. And so karate is this constant trade-off between how you can be powerful, but also how you can be protected. So I've done my kick, I'm going to step in. Now as I step in, you notice I come through center. And I think it's very important that in most of your steps, if not all of your steps, there's a sense of gathering and coming through center and coming back out. This motion alone has so many different applications that you might want to begin exploring just in your head, from just sweeping. And again, it's not, I don't want you to feel like but just the stepping in and sweeping the person. This notion of connecting with somebody the side of their leg, so that you can feel yourself using your leg to connect with their fascia to try and unstabilize them. As you step in, you want to pay attention to your foot position. You don't want your foot turned out. You want it at least forward. I try to bring mine slightly in. When I first learned this kata, Johnny would teach it what was called the shikadachi, or a square stance, and we would literally stand like this. I find just a little more stability in what's called a rooted stance, and a fudodachi in the Shotokan tradition. So this works for me better. When you step in, you don't want to step in too narrowly. In fact, if your feet were on a track here, when you finished, this is still on that track, this is still on that track. So you don't want to narrow that up. You want to make sure that as you're coming in, you're just as wide as you were in your Sanshin. Obviously, you don't want to go too crazy, don't go too wide, but you want to feel that. As I come into this, and I'm making this step, when I sit down, I actually feel kind of an opening, again, of my hips. The muscles in my thighs are rotating, spiraling. I'm feeling this connection with my back, and a sense, again, of sitting down into my pelvic girdle. As I come in, I'm covering my center, I'm circling, and as I circle, there's this sense of opening. Again, feeling the spiral going on in my upper back, spiral going on in my lower back, spiraling with my hand, spiraling with this hand. So I have all these spirals and circles going on. As I go to do the strike, I'm going to start from having my armpit squeezing down, and a sense of my little finger connecting to the side of my body. So my armpit squeezing, my little finger's connected. As I begin to do the strike, I'm going to squeeze my little finger even more. And in that squeeze, I activate and engage this side of my arm to do the elbow. I also start with my hips open, and there's a slight closing of my hips as I make the strike. And then when I pull my elbow back in to do the back fist, my hips can open. slightly to do the back fist. So, elbow strike, back fist. As I do the back fist, I want to come straight through. So as I'm striking, I want my hand to stay level. I don't want to reach out, I don't want to arc, I don't want to reach too far out. Don't want to really go more than, what's that, 120 degrees, something like that. I don't want to go to 180. I just want to come out past my hand. Wherever I'm striking is going to be past that hand, and I want to make sure I go past the hand to strike. As we talked about in class, in the kata, you're going to keep your wrist straight. In actual application, you might turn your fist at that moment of impact, depending on what you want to do with this. So we come in, strike, elbow, then we turn around. When we turn around, we begin a series of waukes. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you're just learning, you can post 1, 2, 3. If you're a little bit farther along, I would encourage you to feel again the sense of circling, the sense of cutting, the sense of spiraling, and striking. Also, this wauke, these 3 steps in the wauke begin to give you an opportunity to explore what's called a temi. A temi are these little percussive strikes that kind of can distract you. I went to Georgia's summer camps one year, and Mark Brelsford, who trained on Okinawa for quite a while, just about took my head off with a wauke. But the way he did it was by first using the bottom part of the wauke, this, as an atemi, and that distracted me enough so that the top part of the wauke could become a shoto. It was an amazing lesson on all the stuff that can happen inside a wauke and how much atemi is inside our kata if we look for it. So you're going to go through that series of waukes. 3 of them all together. And when you finish your 3rd one, there's a circle, chop, back fist. Again, as I'm stepping through, I want to come through center, feel this circle, and here at the chop, I'm going to feel extension going on in my hand. I'm not going to, again, let my shoulder go up. I'm going to feel a certain amount of connection with my shoulder, a certain amount of connection with my back. But as I come through to do this, I'm going to feel my hand extending. And then when I let go of that, so that creates a little bit of tension. I'm extending. As I let go of that tension, that extension tension translates into the strike. So extend, strike. You'll notice my elbow is preceding my hand. Somebody once described this as throwing the football, and that's the best analogy I've ever heard. Elbow, hand. So you've got, and much like a kick then, you've got shoulder, elbow, hand into the strike. You notice my hand collapsing a little bit, because I tend to feel this sense of I'm smacking. But there's another point I want to make about the kata. Whenever you're doing a technique, make sure that both hands are acting with intentionality. You don't want to be doing the strike and have this hand go dead or not be involved. Whatever's going on, you want to feel the other hand engage, the other side of your body engage, just as much as the more active hand. So again, on this technique, we would be stepping through, chopping, back fisting, and then turning around and continuing the kata. When we turn around in the kata, the first technique we're going to do is the shomengiri, a front kick. There are many ways of doing this, but I thank my Kobo teacher, Steve Harrington, for pointing out the error of my ways in this kick. He pointed out once that I was kicking from my hip, and I should be kicking from my center. I've had other people tell me, yeah, you've got to kick from the center. So I would encourage you in Sacramento to kick from the center. Now, if you're watching this and you're not with our dojo, and your teacher says kick from the hip, please kick from the hip. But for us, I want you to practice just bringing that foot up to center. And that's the easiest way to do it, is just feel that knee come up your center. Now, when I said I'm not crossing my knee over, but I'm bringing my knee in as though I were coming through San Chin. And again, this whole notion of circling and stepping through. So my knee comes up my center, and then I can do the Sokutogiri. Now, how to make a toe fist, because I haven't done done the Hujuundo yet, but so when we're when we're kicking this front kick, we're going to do it with a sokusen, with a toe, with the tip of our toe. If you're having trouble finding that, literally just stand. You can practice this on both feet. Stand with your weight on the ball of your foot lightly, and then feel as though you're trying to move that foot forward by curling your toe. Just feel that toe curl under. And that's the same sort of feeling you're going to want to get as you do that kick. So we've made our turn. Again, we're going to make this circle. Shift your weight slightly to that foot. Bring that up. Feel yourself again. For me, as I start to roll out, I've got to pull my weight back into the center. I don't want to be leaning away. So I make this circle. Feel my weight shift. Come up and kick. As you're doing the kick, remember you're trying to kick straight into somebody. You're not kicking up. Again, you're not trying to do a high kick. You're not trying to let this kick go up into somebody. You're trying to drive it in. And your target for this should be your own pelvic girdle. You want to feel this kick as though it's going right into the pelvic girdle area. The last technique after the kick is the technique that virtually everybody in Uechi Ryu has used in sparring at one point or another. And that's the slide in, circle, punch, back. When you're sparring, this is a wonderful technique. This whole touching. And again, at one of George's camps, I remember Art Rabisa just using this whole notion of touching to just have his way with everybody. And so you want to feel this as you're coming in, this sense of touching, circling, punching. Touch, circle, punch. But with the weight again, feeling your connection with your koshi, the connection with your hara as you come in. So it's not up here. The other thing you want to avoid as you're doing these techniques in the kata is letting your education, your having gone to college, get in the way with doing your kata. So for many of us, we've spent way too much time looking at books, so we tend to go down. When you're practicing kata, you want to keep your eyes up, looking at yourself, really. You're your own opponent. When you're doing this punch or any of the techniques, you want to make sure that your head doesn't drop. You don't want to punch like that. As soon as my head drops like that, I lose contact with my koshi. I can feel the weight coming up out the back of my heels. And while I may now hit with my body, which is the weight of my body, I'm not hitting with the ground. And I want to feel as I'm doing these punches that everything from the earth is coming up into my body, into that punch. So again, pay attention to your posture the entire time. Feel that connection with your koshi. Look for atemis. Look for different techniques. I know when I teach this during the class, for many of you, we've explored how you can use the elbow strike as a throw from somebody grabbing you from behind, how you can use it as a wrist escape, how you can use it as a choke escape, how you can simply use it to hit somebody. So keep an open mind. Have targets as you're practicing your kata, but keep an open mind about it. Also, as you're doing your kata, feel the extension going on in your body. When I'm in this stance and I go to do the strike, I feel a lot of extension in the rear leg. There's extension clearly going on the front, but I try to keep a lot of extension around the rear leg. And lastly, I'm going to end this because the elbow strike, and this is so integral to this kata, setting us up for others, with the story of my cousin who was the cop who enjoyed hitting Hell's Angels, and who hit a Hell's Angel once with his nightstick. The Hell's Angel dropped. But when he landed right on my uncle and basically took him to the ground, breaking his leg. As you're practicing your kata, make sure that you're in a position vis-a-vis your leg. So for example, in the low stance, I want to make sure that my shin is as close to 90 degrees as I can get it. I don't want to be in, I don't want to be out, I don't want to be over, I don't want to be back. I want to have my knee and over my ankle as much as possible in this kata. Same thing applies when I'm doing stand-up techniques. When I do this technique, I want to make sure that my knee and ankle are aligned. I don't want to be out, I don't want to be in, I want to pay attention to what's going on. I also want to pay attention to what's going on with the inner muscles of my thigh, again with the lower back, and how all these things are spiraling and rounding, how I'm withdrawing muscles. For example, how when I come back to punch, there's a feeling of rolling the muscles up in the back, a feeling of rolling the muscles in the lower back. So this feeling again of spiraling going on in my entire body. As you practice the kata at home, since we're not counting, when you're practicing at home, since we're not counting, and you don't have to stick with a group, you get a chance to practice this yourself. You get a chance to take the time to feel what's going on with your own body. It's great. And remember, the old masters really only would work on 3 kata. They would send somebody else off. So don't, we're going to be working on all the kata, but at some point in your life, you're going to want to pick some kata to really study deeply. And I invite you to my 100th birthday party, and I'm looking forward to that. It's a little over 30 years from now. I'm inviting you to my 100th birthday party, and I'm going to ask that when you come, your present is that you show me at least one of the kata, one of your 3 katas, so I can see what you've mastered. Anyway, that's all for now. Look forward to training with you again. Bye now.